I will close Boracay. Boracay is a cesspool. It's destroying the environment of the Republic of the Philippines.
Those were the words of the then Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte in 2018, when he shockingly announced the closure of the Philippines' top tourist destination for a 6-month period to let the island recover from excessive tourism and poor waste management. At the time, this announcement caused chaos for businesses, travellers, and the local inhabitants. Airlines immediately cut back their service, cancelling many flights to the island. Tour guides faced mass cancellations. Restaurants, bars, and hotels that were expecting another busy year had to close their doors and let go of all of their staff. At the time, Boracay had over 500 tourism-related businesses that generated a total of $1 billion in 2017. Needless to say, this caused large debate, with business groups and locals begging for the decision to be reconsidered. The President's office said the closure was to save the idyllic island from ruin, pointing out that many businesses were not following waste management practices and were dumping sewage straight into the island's waters. 195 businesses and over 4,000 locals were not connected to the island's sewer lines, and even with this worrying statistic, some of these sewer lines just ran into the ocean anyway. It's incredibly unfortunate that just 2 years later the coronavirus pandemic hit. This would have been the perfect time to actually close Boracay and let the island's natural beauty recover and implement proper waste management processes. Just a quick favour to ask, if you are enjoying this content, please consider subscribing to my channel. I regularly make videos about the Philippines, but 92% of my viewers are not subscribed. It really helps me out, so thank you so much. When you speak to people travelling the Philippines, it very quickly becomes apparent that Boracay divides opinion quite heavily. Some people love the island for its paradise feel, vibrant nightlife and beautiful beaches, whereas others really dislike it for its crowds and its relatively expensive tourist trap pricing. Not many people seem to fall in the middle. People either love or hate Boracay. To be transparent here, Boracay was the first destination I visited in the Philippines, and I absolutely loved it. That was back in 2014, and I came back in 2015 and 2016, and it definitely holds a special place in my heart. Back then, I loved every trip here and didn't feel the need to visit anywhere else in the Philippines. Being from Scotland, getting to the beach and enjoying the Philippines hospitality really was paradise for me, and I continue to love Boracay for a vacation. My last visit to Boracay was April 2023, 1 year ago, and my first time visiting since the island's closure. Whilst I still thoroughly enjoy Boracay, it was probably my least favourite of all my trips. They do say if you loved somewhere, don't revisit it, highlighting that change is inevitable. There were some noticeable differences in my experience, but I still really enjoyed it and continue to love the island. Let me elaborate on some of my observations that led me to not liking it quite as much as I did in my younger days. In my past visits, I always stayed for a night or two in the Shangri-La Hotel. This was a costly treat and it's my favourite hotel in the whole world. The hotel is stunning with its own private beach and pier. However, the price of staying in 5-star luxury had skyrocketed from around $150 per night up to $600 at the time I was trying to visit. I appreciate this was 7 years later, but with the prices quadrupling, it was an experience I had to miss out on. The island itself has obviously been developed quite heavily, with the addition of malls and better facilities and infrastructure. This is good in many ways, however when dining out I enjoyed giving locally owned restaurants my custom. You can still do this of course, but seeing a large rise of franchised fast food places like McDonald's, KFC and Jollibee that had queues out their doors was quite depressing and definitely took away from the island getaway experience. I understand these provide stable employment and income for locals, but if you are visiting on a budget, I would urge you to explore affordable places off the main strip or even local food vendors as an alternative. Speaking of dining out, the restaurants in White Beach used to always have tables on the beach that you could sit and have dinner and drinks at sunset. This was an amazing experience. Since the island's closure, restaurants are no longer allowed to put tables and chairs on the beach. Whilst I really miss this, I completely understand why this has been enforced. The beach during my latest trip was in the best condition I've ever seen it in. The lack of on-beach dining has led to less litter and food waste, which in turn leads to a reduction in stray dogs and waste on the beach. If you know me well, you'll know I enjoy my nightlife, and I loved the nightlife in Boracay, but I was sad to see local authentic nightlife venues making way for much larger scale nightclubs such as Ombar. There's still plenty of local venues of course, so this wasn't the end of the world. I want to stress that none of these changes are a deal breaker for me. I still really love Boracay. I actually enjoy the buzz the island has from crowds of tourists. The Philippines offers literally hundreds of isolated island paradises where crowds won't be a problem, so having places like Boracay and El Nido where you know what you're getting isn't a bad thing, and it's good to see how seriously they're taking the environmental impact of tourism these days. When I go back to the Philippines, I'll definitely visit Boracay again. If you've watched my vlog from here, you'll know just how much I love visiting. The island has benefited in many ways from the closure and stricter regulations being put in place. That's it for this video guys and girls. If you've ever been to Boracay, leave a comment below letting me know your thoughts on the Philippines' #1 tourist destination. If you are planning a trip and can embrace the crowds, I have no doubt you'll thoroughly enjoy it, and I wish you all the best on your travels. Until next time, maraming salamat at ingat po.